As you can see, I'm working extremely hard inside my sleeper. Oh boy, I'm waiting for paperwork. I'm in Louisiana, and I did 1,200 miles from Tuesday till today, and today's Thursday because I was rushing. I thought last time I was here they told me they stopped shipping at 3, and I was here at 1 right after the lunch break, and turns out I mixed up that one as well because I come to the gate and the security guy says no, the lunch break ends at 12:30, and I said, well, I'm here to pick up one of these APVs, and I'm at the gate in my commercial truck. And the guy looks at me and he says, you picking up today? Well, I guess I was hoping so. That's why I brought the truck. And they told me where to park. I parked inside. And you cannot film outside, but this is my property here. So, but straight through the windshield, I'm looking through my windshield, there's 2 tanks. Like real tanks. But anyway, so the machine is here. My machine is here. The APV. But something is missing in the paperwork, and they're still waiting for the for some missing piece to arrive. And I said, but you think it's going to be today because it's Central Time, but time flies, right? And I said, you stop shipping at 3, and the guy says, no, we just have a shift change, but we can ship after 3. He just came over to see me and gave me an update. Says, yes, still nothing. But I said, you think I'll load today? And he says, oh yeah, definitely. But I've been here over an hour, so now I have my doubts because nothing to do with shippers, consignees, brokers, but it's just a rule in trucking that I always mention, like half seriously, half jokingly, but the paperwork usually takes longer to prepare than the time required to load and unload the truck. Like you would go to a place and let's say it takes them 2 hours to load you, then you secure everything, you put straps on, and then you tarp, and then you still have to sit there and wait for the paperwork. So paperwork is more difficult. In this case, there's a variation of this rule. When you have to drive somewhere like Big Deadhead, so normally the paperwork takes the same amount of time it takes you to reach the shipper. So I said to the guy, I've been driving since Tuesday. I did 1,200 miles, and there's still some missing paperwork. And he says, yeah, I apologize. But I said, well, no, it's not your fault. I said, it's the rule in trucking. If not, I better go to the TA and block the spot because it's going to be very busy after like around 5. Oh, and I also wanted to go, well, I do feel tired, but I have 1 shower credit. So I was thinking of getting a shower and then grabbing a quick meal, and then maybe take my new shiny camera and just go shoot some pictures inside this Slidell, Louisiana. Maybe do a video. I want to do like a video test. And this is a Nikon 28mm. Very nice lens. Well, the truck stop is full, so I had to get reserved parking 14 bucks. 14 bucks a night. But basically what happened was I waited at the shipper from 1 to 4 local time, and the guy came out. He said, yeah, it looks like it's not gonna happen today. So they were still missing some piece of paper from the Army, from the Department of Defense. And I asked him, I said, what does it have to do with the Canadian Army? And he said he did not know. And so I took his phone number, his direct line, and they said, come back tomorrow, but no earlier than 10 o'clock. And so I advised my dispatch of this new development, and they also said that they were screamed at by the customer who hired us because they were under the impression that I was supposed to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock. And I said, well, you know, it wouldn't have been possible. I said, I drove like a maniac. Well, legally, not breaking any rules. I'm just saying that I worked very hard, put in maximum allowed hours at the wheel. Like I think yesterday, my logbook shows 10.5 hours. Like honestly, I spent 10.5 hours behind the wheel. Trust me, it's not easy. It's not a car. So it's a truck with a trailer, with a very heavy trailer, and even empty. You know, it's not like driving a car. So anyway, but now that 8 a.m. Complaint is moot because I was there at 1 and the machine was still not ready. Well, the machine is ready, but the paperwork is not ready, so they cannot load it. And like I said, that's what happens in trucking, you know, like paperwork is not ready. You can be there on time or a little bit late or whatever, but if paperwork is not ready, nobody is going anywhere. So back to the truck stop. We'll continue this adventure tomorrow. I'm back at the shipper in Slidell, Louisiana, and I'm still waiting. They went out for lunch. And I could not remember, you know, I remember, no, they don't pay me. Back. I think my next truck will be either a Freightliner Coronado or Pete, that thing that starts with 5, you know. But anyway, so I couldn't remember the exact placement, but I remember that with this machine, because it's for me it's quite heavy, meaning that I will be right under the legal load. And I remember this secret formula. I talked about this before, but there's a not very complicated formula where you can calculate how much weight you will have on your axles. And all you need to know is you need to know your wheelbase, basically the distance from your kingpin to the middle of your axles, or let's say if you have 3 axles, to the axle 2. And then you need to know your empty weights on each axle, and you need to know the weight of the machine, you know. And just to show you and of course you need a measuring tape. So let me show you what I came up with. Okay, so here's my scale ticket. You see, so I know my empty weight, 45,880, and I know these weights, and the most important is the truck and the trailer. So see, the truck is heavier on the truck axles, so this is with just 1 axle up. Okay, and so then I did this crude drawing. So that's my kingpin, and in this case, because the axle 3 will be up, I only care about the distance from the kingpin to the, sorry for my crooked finger, we'll use this, seems more straight, from the kingpin to the middle between the 2 axles. That's your wheelbase, right? So I fished out my humongous measuring tape, and I determined by going back and forth like 10 times to adjust the tape that it's 42 feet from here to here. And just for the future, if my third axle is down and I need to measure to this one, it's 44 feet 2 inches, right? And then I also measured, the second thing I measured is from kingpin to my light, which is supposed to be the middle, like the light on the side of the trailer, right? So in this case, it's 25 feet 5 inches. Well, basically, let's just say 25.5 for easier calculation, right? And so let's say if I put the machine so that the center of the machine is where the light is. And all you do is just you take the weight of the machine, you divide by this, which is 42, and you multiply by this. And that gives you the weight that will go on the trailer. Like if I divide this by this, basically if I put the center of the machine right here, it'll put 19,428 pounds on the back, and then I just add this, the empty weight, and you can see already, so 19 plus 15, that's already over 34, because there's 500 over there, right? So that's not good. I want to be under 34 here. And what I determined is that after doing a couple of calculations, just basically reducing this number here, like first to 24.5, then to 23.5, and I finally figured out that I have to be 3 feet closer to the truck. So basically when they load the machine, I will make sure that the middle between its wheels is 3 feet here. So it's going to be here. So it must be closer to the truck. The truck is here. Then I'll be around 32,000 pounds here. And okay, let's see. I have a calculator on my supercomputer from Mac, which by the way I'm selling because I got tired of their. I wanted to get a big one with a 15-inch screen because it's really hard to make movies on this tiny screen. But when I look, and I want a dedicated video card, but when I looked at last Mac models, it's like after tax it's almost 4 grand Canadian. So I just got a Dell. It's coming in the mail. But anyway, so let's say we know the weight from the last trip. I know it's 32,000 pounds. That's the weight of this TAPV. Divided by, where's divided? Divided by my wheelbase of 42 feet. And we multiply by 23.5, which is 3 feet ahead of the side light. And that's 17,904 pounds. That's how much this machine will put on the back. So let's just write it down. 17,904. Sorry. So now I just add my empty weight on the back. 15,540. So the trailer will be at 33,444. Perfect. Now we just need to determine how much will go on the truck. And so we take 32,000 minus 17,904, which went on the trailer. So that leaves us 14,096 pounds. And now we do plus 17,700. That's the empty weight of my driver axles, and that's 31,796. 31,796. So basically, I can move it a bit further down. So instead of 3, I can move it probably like 3.5 feet. So that's what I gotta do. So see, now I know approximately when I look from the side, so I have to be closer to the front. And you know, when you have time, it's always a good idea to do this. Of course, when it's not windy. If it's windy, you're screwed. You cannot, that measuring tape flies away, you know, you cannot measure anything. But now I'm gonna keep this records for the future, so I know my wheelbase. And I'll just write it on the CAT receipt. So this will make it easier to perform these incredibly difficult calculations in the future. 1 o'clock, 1:08 in Louisiana. The temperature is, I'm getting so hot in this sweater, but outside is a bit chilly. Still on the truck, still not loaded. But I hooked up all my signs, all my flags. printed out the first 3 permits: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and I thought I would be going on a straight, as crow flies route, but because of the customs, all these machines must cross at one location, Detroit, Michigan, or Windsor, Ontario. Like, that adds about 75 miles to my route, because I was thinking, and how Google Maps routes you from here, it's just I-59 to I-75 to I-81, and then you go straight towards New Jersey and New York City, jump on 287, go around, and right there's I-87 going north towards Albany, and it goes right into Quebec, just south of Montreal. But instead I'm gonna go like this, basically straight north from here, instead of going northeast, north towards Detroit, Toledo, Detroit, and then take 401 all across Ontario towards northeast towards Quebec. So it's gonna be longer, but there's nothing you can do, because that's how customs paperwork is set up. And I see there's another guy over here, or maybe 2. My contact said there's 2 more trucks coming, and the guy's sitting outside of the gate. So they asked me to move to make room. No, I can't. Why is it so hot? So it's plus 18 Celsius with 65 F, and it's hot inside the truck, but it's chilly outside. Outside it's a bit, it's not like real summer. And one thing I wanted to mention that I forgot is that today is December 2nd, and kind of light is coming in here. Yeah, December 2nd, and that means that it's my mom's birthday. And if you remember, she had a stroke a while ago, but now she's doing fine. She speaks okay, except that she says she just got, I sent him some money, so she got new teeth. I'm telling you, when I'm old, I'm really taking all teeth out and putting those ones that go in the gum, because I see how my mom, it's like, she says it's so awful, she cries, she cannot eat, she cannot taste the food, and all her life she was always pushing me, Sergey, go fix your tooth, when you're old and and you have no teeth, you'll be in trouble. And she'd always did that. She always took care of her teeth, and would always run to the doctor because she was so afraid of staying toothless when she's old. And guess what? The result is pretty much the same as if she did nothing. She had like 3 or 4 real teeth left after 70 or 75, and so she had to get all those crowns, the ones that take off, and those are awful. She got some cheap ones first, and then my brother and me, we got together some money, sent her over, and now she got some better ones. And so yesterday I was going to sleep on, remembering, looking at the calendar, it's like December 1st. I know what that means, is that tomorrow is December 2nd, so I better call my mom in Russia. And so 7 o'clock, I just wake up, but it's already 5 in Russia, because I'm on Central Time now. My brother sends me an email, kind of like reminding me, don't forget. I said, no, I just woke up, I'll go take a shower. And so I went, I got 1 credit for TA shower, got that, check. And then I went into the restaurant and called them, and my mom talks pretty good, except she says, a funny story, when she got the new teeth, like, again, you don't understand, and till you're like really old, how important the teeth are. When she got the new ones, and she's pretty happy with them, but when she got them, like, first day, she could not speak, That's how, like, it's like a foreign object in your mouth, it's awful. And she said, and she's laughing, she's talking to me about this. She said, I went into the store and I wanted to buy a cheese, and it's called Российский сыр, which is basically a Russian, but just that's the make of the cheese. It's called a Russian. And she tried to say that, she couldn't, and she says the clerk at the counter was looking at her like she was an idiot, you know, like, and she she tries to say something, and sounds that come out don't make the word that she wants. So guys and gals, take care of your teeth. That's all I have to say about the subject. But my mom, she said 80. She's 80 years old. Unbelievable. So I wish her all the best. I said we're gonna be singing and dancing at your 10-0 celebration. You just wait. In the movie Groundhog Day, the Bill Murray's character asks the producer that he's infatuated with. He says, "What's your ideal guy? You know, just describe him. Who are you looking for?" And she gives him the qualities that she is seeking in a man. And Bill Murray says, "I'm really close on this one. I'm really close." So Bill Murray got close to matching the ideal of a girl he liked. Today Uncle Sergei came really close to loading the tactical armored patrol vehicle. Well, I came close, but it did not happen. So what happened was they were struggling with the inspection, and then they found, when they were doing the final inspection, they found defective windshield wiper, whatever, coolant hose, and so they were working to replace that. And then by the time they were done, there were still more checklists to complete, and the inspector left for the day. And this is Friday, and I'm back at the truck stop here, and since I cannot show you anything on my trailer, you can probably actually see the roof. Oh, look at this. I wanted to show you this. Check out this guy. Very fancy, I think it's a Kenworth, right? All fixed up in the front. It was all like brand new, you know. And look at that's the final image I want to leave you with, is that Volvo over there. How humongous is that sleeper? You know, he probably even has a washroom in there, a shower for sure. So you can look at the toolboxes at the bottom. Unbelievable. That's probably the largest one I ever saw, you know. But I'm glad at least I got back to the truck stop at 4 o'clock local time. At least I was able to find a spot, like in a very good location. You see how my truck, like normally my truck sticks out all the time, because in the back it's markings over there, so people cannot see, like the way we are positioned here. It's like steps, you know, fitting each other. So there's nobody can prevent me from going as far back as I can, because I'm still inside my line. You know, this is really cool. And this guy's trying to back Indian River. What are you doing in Louisiana? I'm next to EPIS Transport System, Greensboro, North Carolina. And there's nobody on my right. And over there we have cool looking FedEx. Again, look at this. That's a, you know, courier truck, like 5-ton truck. Look at the sleeper on that thing. This guy has air conditioning unit. He has a carrier, a reefer unit on the top, so you know he can carry refrigerated products in that box. And he has that anti-deer bumper, you know. So I've been working hard this week, but the good news is that the customer is paying, right? Because I am not here on my own, like just desire to drive empty down to Louisiana. So I'm here because the customer requested our expertise specifically a RGN lowboy trailer. That's why I'm here. But the machine is not ready, and I've been here since 1 o'clock on Thursday. So 1 p.m. on Friday, one day, Saturday, Sunday. So that's 3 days detention. So somebody has to pay that. Well, at least it's a good area. It's a very busy area. Like for me, you know, it would be bad if I was stuck somewhere in the middle of a field in Siberia. But this is not a field, and best of all, it's not Siberia, because there's a Starbucks. That's my major requirement. I want to have a Starbucks, and I want to have a decent restaurant with lots of veggies and fresh salads. So I found Starbucks. I haven't been there yet. I know it's on the other side of the bridge over the Interstate 10. Just gonna go there now and do the movie. I've been using my phone, so just now I have to collect all these pieces, masterfully glue them together, add some music, special effects, maybe show imaginary APV on my trailer. No, I wouldn't do this to you guys. Well, no. But one more thing I wanted to say is that why I said I really came close, because yeah, they said I was definitely loading, and there were 2 more trucks showed up, and they told me, yeah, I can break the trailer. So I disconnect from the trailer. I installed all my signs, my flags. I took out my chains. I know I will need at least 4 chains, 4 binders, so I put them on the grass next to the trailer. I got out my chain lube air spray. I sprayed all the binders. I printed out my permits. I got the permits for the nearby states already, so I'm studying the route. I did everything. Like, the only thing left was to load the APV and attach a red flag to each wheel, because I already have flags and signs on the front, flags and signs on the back, and secure it with chains. And I was already looking for a sundown time in Alabama, because I have to go through Mississippi, Alabama, and Mississippi 24-hour travel is allowed with my load, but Alabama sunset to sunrise, or sunrise to sunset. And I'm already checking, sunset time. I see, okay, sunset is around 5 o'clock local time, so this was at 3, because I saw they were loading the other guy, like truck number 2 that came later than me already got his machine and left, the guy from Quebec. But his other buddy, like there were 2 guys from the same company that was there, his machine is also, we share the same fate. So I left him there. He said, yeah, he's coming to the truck stop as well. And that's what, this is not to complain, because this stuff happens, and often, like, looking for a guilty party, it's like a useless waste of time. It just, it's all about money. Time is money, right? So as long as somebody is paying, I'm okay. So now I just need to, go to Starbucks, get some real coffee, make the movie, and look for something to do till Monday. Have a good weekend, boys and girls.